Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. We are back with our second segment. We just got done talking about Robert McIntyre and his fantastic performance over the weekend. And now we're going to be talking about the rest of the leaderboard and how that shaped up in the RBC Canadian Open with Robert McIntyre, as I mentioned, already getting first. Now, to second onward, Ben Griffin was your second place finisher at the RBC Canadian Open. This was a fantastic finish for him, as he's been pretty inconsistent this year. He came into this tournament 85th in the FedEx Cup standing. Now he finishes at 54th. That is very important for him going into, of course, trying to get to the top 70 for the St. Jude FedEx Championship, top 50 for the I talk about it so often. Disappointing myself, but that's blanking me as well. But for third place, it's also Victor Perez, who takes a great jump in the FedEx standings from 114th to 80th. All these tournaments are very important for these guys low into the FedEx Cup standings. Of course, Robert McIntyre also jumps the most, 75th to 32nd. He is close to knocking on the door for the Tour Championship. That is what top 30 gets you. So a lot of golfers playing good golf and during important moments here. So Ben Griffin, he finishes 15 under. He could have definitely done a lot better. He finished the first round 70th at par. Goes on a little bit of a run. Round 2, 65th. Saturday, 65. Round 4 on Sunday, a 65 as well. So ends 15 under for the weekend, shooting a 265 out of 280 possible, or 280 to par strokes. So very impressive what Ben Griffin was able to do. Very important for him as well. Victor Perez, with an absolutely amazing weekend, was able to surge to third place, locking that up. Very impressive what he was able to do, as well as he finished the first 2 days only 2 under par, going 12 under on the weekend, utilizing moving day and Sunday to his absolute advantage. Victor Perez played very well, and he played very well on difficult holes. A bogey-free card on the fourth round, saw a birdie on 18, birdie on 15, birdie on 10, 8, 4, and 3. A lot of difficult holes to birdie on. And then in round 3, it was actually 7 birdies and a bogey. So he only had 10 pars on this card. A great round for him, who's just chasing the lead. When you're chasing from behind, that's kind of what this looks like. From when you're in the third round and chasing from behind, you're gonna stick your neck out there, and he absolutely did, with birdies on 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, 15, 17, playing very good golf on the long holes, not birdieing a single par 3, but you don't need to if you're playing that well on the par 4s. And he did play well on the par 4s on this weekend. One of the better drivers on tour, of course, Victor Perez. So he uses that to his absolute advantage and finishes third with a great Saturday and Sunday. Tied for fourth are Tom Kim and Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy, such an up and down weekend for him, coming in as the overwhelming favorite, and we're probably going to spend the most time talking about him, as he's been I want to say he's been pretty weird this, in the past couple of tournaments. I feel like he's been the only big name really in these fields, and he's not really using it to his fullest advantage as I would expect him to. Of course, the 26-time winner on tour has been great this year. Tied for fourth at the RBC Canadian Open, tied 12th at the PGA Championship, first at the Wells Fargo Championship, first at the Zurich Classic, third at the Valero Texas Open. He's been pretty good on tour this year, but it's been, I don't know, it's just been weird how he's been playing. This tournament was definitely his to take. I mean, he came in plus 380, I think, were the opening odds, and then after the first day where he shoots a 66, it looks like he's going to be, the front runner in this one, putting his name on the leaderboard. But on Friday, and his Fridays have been pretty weird. I mean, going all the way back, he hasn't had a really great Friday, but except for the Genesis Invitational this year. 72 at the RBC Canadian Open, shooting 2 over. 71 at the PGA Championship, shooting 1 over. Wells Fargo Championship, 68. I believe that was a par 71, if I'm not mistaken. So only 3 under there. RBC Heritage, 68. Masters, a 77. 70 at the Valero Texas Open, 73 at the Players Championship, 70 at the Arnold Palmer, and then 67, 66, and 74 at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It's been that round 2 that's kind of has gotten him this year. A lot of 70s in that column for his Fridays. So maybe that is a day to watch for when you're talking about Rory McIlroy. His Fridays kind of stands out for it. So when you're watching him on these Fridays, maybe even in the Memorial at the U.S. Open for the next 2 tournaments, watch him on that Friday, see how he's playing. If he's playing well, he'll definitely put himself in a great spot to win. At the Wells Fargo where he won it, he shoots a 68. At the, I don't have the scores for the Zurich Classic, the other tournament he won this year, because that's the partner tournament. And the scorecard, it's not something easy to read as it is the scramble. So for Rory McIlroy, tied for 4th in this one, a great result, but this was definitely his to win, and he's just not able to do it, not able to separate himself from the other. Once again, Rory McIlroy, it's something that Scottie Scheffler never fails to do. He always separates himself from the other, and Rory McIlroy has had that trouble the last few years, being able to put that there is more of a space between 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 than there is between 2 and 4 or 3 and 4. So we're going to talk about my top 10 golfers in the world, but that'll all make sense when I get to that, because I will be breaking that down and what I mean by that when we get to that 4th segment. But yeah, I just think Rory McIlroy isn't on the. What I'm saying is he's not on the same tier as Scottie Scheffler, but he is on the same tier as like a Wyndham Clark or a Sahith Theegala or Ludwig Oberg, Victor Hovland, like those guys. The guys that you expect to contend in every tournament that they play in, but aren't the favorite, you're not expecting them to win. Anytime that Scottie Scheffler tees the ball up, you expect him to go out and win. And that's kind of what you expect for Rory McIlroy, the superstar that he's built himself up to be. But he's just not. So we'll see how he plays at the Masters. Hasn't historically played well at the Masters tournament, not winning yet in his career. So I'm excited to see, or the Masters, the Memorial. Both start with an M. Cut me some slack. But yeah, hopefully he can turn it around, because when Rory's winning, it's a very fun thing to watch. When that driver is on, there's nothing like it in golf. So we'll see if he can get back to that next week. But moving on, our highest finishing Canadian on the list is Corey Connors. He finishes 4 back of the lead. Mackenzie Hughes had a very great chance going into this Sunday. Shoots a 70. If Mackenzie Hughes can shoot, I mean, in hindsight, if he shot a 64, that would have been to tie, but that's very difficult to do on a Sunday. So no, I don't blame him for not contending with the lead, but he does fall off after he was second place going into Sunday. 69, 64, 67 going in, and then a 70 even par finishes him at 10 under for the weekend. He finishes with Maverick McNeely, who had a horrid start to this tournament. He opened his weekend with a 74 on Thursday, but 65, 66, 65 to close it out. Got him at 10 under. Pretty impressive finishing from the young guy. Of course, he is very new to the tour, turning pro just this year. Has been pretty great on tour so far. From Stanford, California, he's been pretty impressive this year. But hopefully he can continue with this result. I love saying the name Maverick McNeely. So we'll see what he's able to do. But Mackenzie Hughes is the second highest finishing Canadian, finishing 10 under. And then it's Ryan Fox, Chandler Phillips, Keith Mitchell, and Joel Damon, and Sam Burns all make up the tie for 10th at 9 under. Joel Damon had a very good weekend up until Sunday. Another guy that couldn't get it done on Sunday finishes even to par 70 on Sunday. So a lot of guys could have contended with Robert McIntyre, but it was a mix of him playing good golf, safe golf, but it is also a mix of guys just being out of reach of him up to the point, of course, 64, 66, 66. Oh, sorry. 64, 66, 66 kind of helped him separate himself from the others. So hopefully for the rest of the field, they can put it together for the Memorial. Not a lot of big names in this tournament. We talked about it on Thursday that this field was pretty short. Kind of results in this. It was good golf to watch, but it was just it was a sense of it had a sense of like lacking something, and I think that something was I feel like if Scotty Scheffler was in this tournament, he shoots in the 20 unders and wins this one. I think if Xander Schauffele is in this tournament, I think he plays very, very well. Victor Hovland in this tournament, I think, plays very, very well. But it's Robert McIntyre that finishes at 16 under. This tournament was missing something. I think it was one of those other superstars besides Rory McIlroy to be here. And we just didn't see that. So, unfortunately, we missed out on that. But congratulations to Robert McIntyre, as we will be wrapping up our talk on the RBC Canadian Open now. Now we will be getting into our third segment of the night, where we will be talking about Justin Thomas and his slow start to his season.